Hey guys, this week's podcast features Mike and Christian of the Black Market Food Truck and Frank and Paul of Frank Gourmet Hotdogs. They came down and talked about their first year in the food truck business. Let's get to it.
When I met you guys individually, it was really early in January. I think I met you guys on the Frank and Paul. I met you guys on the truck. Somehow you recognized me.
Yeah, I don't know how.
When I came up, but I met you guys really early, and then you guys obviously came down for the podcast like a week before you opened. It's I was nervous because I had become friendly with all of you guys, and I was like, I really hope they're good, and then I was like, I also really hope their food's good because I don't want to be a huge dick. And luckily,
oh, you were nervous. Yeah, we weren't nervous at all.
They took a picture of your food, Frank.
But luckily, I mean, me and Ellie are huge fans of both the Black Market and Frank.
Thank you.
I was really excited. I'm kind of going over the things that I was happy about that happened this year, and the fact that you guys joined the food truck nation, I guess you could say, of Buffalo. Yeah. I consider that one of the better things that happened this year, and so
appreciate that, man.
Well, that's great to hear. Thank you.
And so I figured we'd have you guys down here because we both talked to you early, I guess, in the food truck world. Mm-hmm. You guys hadn't, Christian and Mike, you guys hadn't even opened yet, and you guys had only been open, Frank and Paul, about a month maybe, if that. So you guys were everybody was still green.
Yeah, for sure. Literally figuring everything out.
Yeah.
Very green.
So we're recording this in December. I guess really brief, in a first glance, was it more ridiculous than you thought? Do you guys think you were properly prepared for what was going to happen, or?
I think one of the things that we both say a lot, not only myself and Christian, but Frank and Paul too, is that we sort of looked at it as an advantage. And I remember Frank brought that up in the first podcast he had with you guys, an advantage in starting in the wintertime. Now, that was kind of his plan, and it wasn't ours, so we weren't really sure. But I do think that it helped us out, and we've been saying that all along. Any place that opens that's new, that people get excited about, especially it being a food truck, is going to have that initial burst. It's that thing you need. You need to have that, and to have it in a time when business would normally be very slow. Yeah. I think it definitely benefited us. And then you last those couple of months and the weather starts getting nice again. And I think everyone knows, at least in Buffalo, that this summer was crazy for food trucks. So,
Oh, I'm going. Okay. No, I think it was a benefit starting in winter, like I said before. It helps you get your stride.
Yeah.
When summer comes, but as far as being overwhelmed, I actually thought it was going to be more crazy, food scene in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Looking back on the year, there were moments, but I thought it would be continuous through the whole summer.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it was a lot of peak and valleys. So I don't know if that was just the events maybe we picked or the areas, but I kind of thought there'd be a little bit more, a stronger food truck outpour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you guys? Doing it for a whole year, do you guys feel like you had a grasp on knowing when a location was going to be strong versus when something wouldn't work out? Or?
I think in the beginning, there's a sense of loyalty going into spots. Hey, they gave us a shot.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of stay true to them, even when it's you kind of know you should cut the cord.
Yeah.
It's a really tough decision because again, you become friends with the people who invite you.
Yeah.
They don't have to at all. So, but later as the time went on, you're if this isn't profitable, you got to move on.
Yeah.
If people just for some reason at a certain location don't grasp towards what you're selling, you gotta just find somewhere else, or else you're gonna be closed. So that was really tough for us, to cut places off. At least for me, just because they gave us a shot. So.
Yeah,
that was one of the things that we learned.
I think once the weather broke, you start to realize within a matter of a couple weeks what spots are good and what spots aren't.
Yeah.
We've had a couple that we've stuck with since the beginning that are equally as good throughout the entire year. And like Frank said, you have a loyalty to these people. Mm-hmm. They're the customers that got you to where you are now a year later. So to just say, sorry, we're not making enough money here, it's hard, it's hard to do that. And I think part of our business models both is to do things the right way and to treat people with respect. So, we want to approach things in that way as well. But, and then you go to Larkin And it's like, whoa, why do I do anything else other than come here? But yeah,
it's tough to handle. It's tough to
you're,
kind of grasp that.
Yeah, your regular everyday spots, you pick up pretty quickly on the ones that are going to be profitable and the ones that aren't. So.
Yeah. I mean, is there still a year in when you would go somewhere and just be shocked that it wasn't like the money maker that you thought, or is there still those moments where you feel like good going into a place? Or
I think that could go either way. There are some spots where you pack the truck, you're ready for war, and they're just so. And then you have spots where you're thinking you're going to do this much in sales, and everyone comes out. So
yeah.
That's still part of the process too. I think going back to your first question, I don't think really any of us going into starting the truck really had a full grasp of what it was going to entail.
Yeah.
We've all worked at restaurants. We've all worked at bars. We've all seen that side of the business. But I don't think you really can prepare yourself for the truck to have 40 people, 30 people just show up out of nowhere and be ready. Like,
it's true.
That's a lot.
That's
a lot to handle. There's two people, and who's yelling at who, and I mean you just gotta. So at least for us, it was.
Yeah, we don't.
It was a little. That's why for us, we knew we needed the winter to put a system in place and all that. So
sure.
For us, that's kind of how it happened.
Well, the other unique thing, besides that, you guys opened pretty close to each other.
A day apart.
Yeah,
you opened the
right?
day before we did.
Yeah. You guys are really the two trucks. I mean, you guys just hired. You basically just brought somebody on recently,
right?
Jerry. Yeah, Jerry. But I mean,
Frankie loves Jerry.
Father Jerry.
but for the most part, the two trucks, like, it's pretty much just the four of you guys. Like, I mean, two trucks. I mean, how was? I mean, that every other truck that I know has at least some type of crew. It seems like. I mean, how was just being the only two guys? I mean, that had to be.
Sure.
I can't imagine at the end of summer you guys weren't exhausted or something like that.
Well, I think, we just spoke about Jerry. Jerry was huge. He was instrumental in what we were able to do this summer. Pretty much the winter and the beginning part of the spring, it was myself and Christian pulling those 20-hour days where, you're in it 6:30 a.m., prepping all morning to go to lunch, coming back, and then if you're not doing dinner, prepping all night for the next day, because it's almost every day you're out. And a lot of the stuff that we do can take a day or two in order for it to be where it needs to be. So it's tough to plan. And when we put Jerry in the mix, it really changed things for us. I think it really opened things up. It allowed us to do more stuff, and that was. I think that he helped us.
It allowed us to be out more frequently, which was obviously good. But yeah, I mean, people ask us how our relationship has maintained itself throughout the course of this year.
Yeah, I mean, for everybody here, I mean, you're kind of with this person for the whole entire day.
I mean, they're brothers, so I can't imagine how that works. But for Mike and I mean, it really wasn't bad. It did reach like a breaking point for like a week. We were just kind of like quiet towards each other, and then we just kind of got it all out one night. I think we were at Vera, maybe had a couple cocktails.
That's
and
the
we
place to get it out.
You're pissing me off.
This
is why you're pissing me off.
Hey man, it happens.
I mean, I can't imagine. I mean,
70 hours a week.
Him, for more than 20 hours a week.
And it's not like you're in or in an office. You're in like a box that's always hot.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you
guys
touching butts all day.
Oh my god. Right with you guys. I think for us, we made the decision that we needed to know everything about the truck, what worked, what didn't, what systems we needed before we could bring anyone else on, just for our own sanity. So that's why, it was just us literally these last 10 plus months, but we hope that changes, year two. It will change, otherwise we won't be sitting here just for... We won't have our sanity, but...
when we do a revisit podcast in a year from now.
I don't even want to imagine what that would look like. But so for us, it was just we needed to know our business before we could bring anyone else on. And we've had our battles. I think I was fired 22 times this year. But at the same time, like, we get the job done, and, he's good at some things, I'm good at others. And ultimately, I think we work pretty well together.
Yeah. No, I think for us, we're obviously brothers, but we spent a lot of time apart. My brother was in D.C. before he came back to help me with the truck. I was bouncing back and forth from New York to working in restaurants here. So as much as we battled, like for us as brothers, it like brought us together. But even with like all the screaming matches, I did fire him like an excessive amount. But
once every 2 weeks,
in front of customers, hopefully, or no?
No. And the thing is, he remembers everyone's names. He's good, you know. Just, you know, I had no one else to take it out on. You know, when you're cooking for 3 shifts, 7 days a week, sometimes it happens. So
yeah.
But really, when I look back, and I have, because you know we're stopping for the winter, I really don't know how we did, like how much we did for the whole for 10, 11 months. Like
you do lose
with just the two of us. Like I thought, like for the most part, we were out 7 days a week, and we were always out at least, you know, for the most part 2-3 times a day. And there's not many trucks that even do dinners or like will stack their schedule. And like the black market and us, like we tried to make a point of doing lunch and offering a dinner like as much as possible. And then you sprinkle in all the concerts and events. It's tough on just, you know, a skeleton crew. But I think our 2 trucks pulled it off. Yeah, I'd say, you know, better than most that opened.
I'd agree with that too.
Oh,
so. Yeah,
making me blush.
As emotional as he's gonna get.
Yeah, so that's really all you're gonna get out of me. But
I mean, when we talked to everybody here, like 10 months, 11 months ago, you guys had ideas for what you wanted to do with the truck and menu items and things like that. And obviously, maybe some plans have changed. Like, what were the reasons that you had to call audibles? Like, I know for you guys, you recently you experimented with like hot dogs,
different
like,
links,
from Portland and things like that. And I know you guys have messed around with the menu. I remember like I actually re-listened to it, and I remember like hand pies were like a big featured thing, and I just recently
just now.
Yeah. So I mean, like, how were the changes, or why did they happen? I mean,
we did hand pies the first night we were out. They did not work. They fell apart in the fryer and like destroyed the fryer. And so we kind of backed off from that, and then we fell into arancini. Oh man,
yeah, you guys were known for the arancini and the banh mi. I mean, those are the
banh mi as well. I mean, the
banh
rolls.
Fine. The banh mi.
Yeah, we were working with a guy who was helping us out with rolls, just because it was a labor intensive process when you first start, and we didn't have the extra 6 hours in a day to be able to bake these rolls. And he ended up entertaining different opportunities. He's working for First Niagara Center now, and then when Jerry came on, we revamped everything we were doing with the rolls. And still to this day, I mean, we're trying to make it better every day. If we can make it better, if something's not working right, you know, we're always trying to change it and make it better and grow with it. So that was definitely probably the biggest thing was the rolls, and then hand pies. We're doing hand pies now.
I think
thanks, Jer.
And I think that like when we started, we were ambitious in terms of how much we would be changing our menu, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that when you have events like Larkin and then food truck rodeos, it's pretty much impossible to say, well, I'm going to change my menu halfway through this week. Like you have to prepare for that many people, and you know, we changed it as much as we possibly could. Yeah. But I think we were a little overeager when we started, and like, we're going to change this every day.
Like if you had like met like your 6 months prior version,
or slaps him in the face.
Son of a bitch.
Did it ease off the throttle a little bit? But no, I mean, it worked out. I think now again we've hit a slower season, and we've started to change things a little bit more.
Yeah,
regularly,
reinvent a little more now.
Nice.
So
for us, we started with a pretty big menu. You know, 12 for hot dogs. So we introduced a couple specials here and there. As the season got busier, that kind of fell off. But towards the end,
I still miss that kimchi dog, man.
Yeah, we'll have that back. We some were successful, and that gave us promise for like looking at the menu for next year. But too, you're ambitious, and you think, you know, you're gonna be able to do X, Y, and Z, and you're just hoping to be able to get through the menu that you do have. So for us, I think we're gonna move more towards, you know, introducing more links for next year. The sausages didn't go as we had planned, but the hot dogs that we did pick up towards the end of the season, you know, people enjoyed. So I think that's where our head's at.
I was really happy that you guys started messing around with, like, you know, I mean the T-Meadow dogs were on there and things like that. It was really cool to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna keep Salen's as our base. I think
I think that's understandable.
As much as I wanted to introduce more links, Buffalo is just stuck on, which is fine. We love Salins.
Yeah,
it's still
not a bad hot dog.
So that's always going to be our base, but we're going to shrink down the amount of hot dogs we use with that, and just kind of like our heavy hitters that everyone goes for are going to be Salins, and then I'm going to kind of, and that's why we're taking off for a little bit, is just to get creative with. I got, the hot links, the tea meadow. I got a bunch of specialty links from like Brooklyn, made with like chicken and different things. And we just didn't have time to get to them.
Yeah.
Like I have, it just didn't work out because we were busy. But we're gonna stick with Salins and play with the links. We finally got our rolls as well, like to the size we wanted.
Okay. Nice.
So they're
a little big, but it's still.
Well, now they're not. Now they're like perfect size. It took me like 11 months to get there, but we're gonna shrink the menu and just make sure we're doing the 6 or 8 ones we're doing just like on point.
Nice.
And I think that's like another thing that sets us apart is like we won't put something on our menu, whether it's a hot dog or a sandwich or whatever they're doing, unless it's like how we want it. We're just not like, hey, let's do this today. I think if people could say anything about our trucks, is we stuck to our concept, from like start to finish, and I don't think you say that about everyone else. So
I think a lot
really
of them,
important, and that's why like we have the quality we have.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that totally.
We all use fresh ingredients, and we're true to our concept, and I think that's really important.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, you want to create that brand, I guess, that people trust, and if you put something on the menu, they know that they can trust it because you haven't led them astray to that point.
Sure, if it's going to change, it's going to be changed for the better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about the actual trucks themselves.
Come on, why?
So, were you guys all expecting that at some point you'd have to deal with something horrible with the truck? Was that built into your expectations going into this year?
Define horrible. I mean,
I just don't think you could
can
plan on anything that happened.
Can we give them a glimpse of actually what happened? You remember? I don't. Well, first of all, like these trucks that are converted, they're all old. Like theirs is ancient. Theirs is like a fossil.
Yeah, the
but
black
like,
market is a beast on itself.
Every food truck, you take an old delivery van, FedEx truck, whatever you haul, and you convert it. So they're all old. They've all have, for the most part, decent amount of miles on it, and then you're throwing new equipment in there. So obviously, like unlike a restaurant, like we have huge mechanical bills on top of equipment issues that happen.
Yeah.
Whether it's a transmission, fuel lines, everything. Brakes. So, I mean, at one point or another, like, you're sidelined and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And the one frustrating part about food trucks is you're at the whim of, like, the people that know how to fix whatever has been broken.
Yeah.
And that was probably
is there
for
a limited group in Buffalo who really can do that?
No, I mean with the actual equipment, yes, but like mechanics could do anything on the truck, but you're still on their schedule, and I think that's one of the more aggravating parts is you kind of have to be on someone else's timeline.
Yeah.
Because for us, I mean, everything under the sun broke at some point, and it's just like how fast can you get back?
Yeah.
In retrospect, I probably would have bought a new truck and built it from start to finish. At this point, but our truck was reliable, but stuff's gonna go wrong, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So.
I think you get to a point where people just stop believing that all this stuff's going wrong.
Totally.
They're just like, you're like making excuses to go out, to not go out. And it's like, I have to go out because I have to pay for this stupid thing that broke.
Yeah. And that touches on one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't realize is it's not even the mechanical bill that I'm worried about. It's how many days of business am I going to lose by not being able to be out. Because the truck is the restaurant. It's like if I had to close my restaurant for 6 days straight, things are going to go south. So that's a tough thing to have to battle constantly as well.
Yeah. I mean, was there a point though where you like just you didn't even get mad anymore?
Yes,
Totally.
for sure.
Yeah, you have to.
You really do. I mean,
there's nothing you can do.
I think we all said that. You got to accept it at a certain point. It is going to happen, and if you freak out about it every single time, I mean, then there's not really a point in you running your own business and having your own thing. If your world's gonna end every time you run into an issue, because you gotta expect it to happen.
I would say up until April, we were freaking out every time something happened, and then after that, you're kind of like, just every day you assume something's going to happen. So the days that it doesn't are great. We could get into specifics, I guess.
Yeah, April's pretty good. I think we went to August before we calmed down.
Paul was better at it than me.
I'm shocked.
I took a little longer to not have a complete utter meltdown. Now if something happens, I'm just get on the phone and call the guy. Yeah. And it is what it is.
I guess that has to.
It's more that you feel bad that wherever you're going, you're going to disappoint the loyal customers that you have.
Yeah.
Every day you have different random customers that want to come up and try your truck, and that's phenomenal. A lot of food businesses can't really say that.
Yeah.
But you're just upset when you're at a location and you know those 5, 10, 15 people that are just die hard black market or
they
Frank's.
Circle it on their calendar.
Yeah, or they want to get that, and you feel bad. You don't want to let anybody down, especially because it's something you're putting together for them.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of places can't say that people want to chase you down and eat your food, and when you disappoint them and you can't control it, it bothers us.
You don't even want to look at Twitter.
Yeah.
I just avoid it for the rest of the day. I'm
aggravating things for us.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, especially when it's the morning of, because a lot of people don't bring their lunch, assuming that you're going to be there. And then you don't show up, you feel terrible. But, from our point of view, we have to realize that we are a business and there's no excuse.
Yeah.
Whether it's out of our hands or not,
Yeah.
we're always the ones responsible. We've accepted that. So, it's just, I don't know, I guess it's sort of an emotional burden that you take on when you have to do that. But.
It's never been anything really crazy. I mean, I think we all have really awesome customers. We clearly love our customers more than anything, so they understand. They do.
And I mean, every other truck has had an issue at some point. I mean, they've had the time to see that Lloyd has broken down or caught on fire. They've known that things happen. So it's kind of, it comes with the territory.
Nature of the business. Yeah.
But still, I know personally, I don't know when I would get to the point where I wouldn't just be second guessing every decision that I've made.
Yeah.
Happens a lot.
Doesn't take long.
We all just sigh.
I would have had a heart attack if I kept letting it bother me as much as I did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you do really have to come.
I would have had to close up because it's again, it just goes back to I don't want to disappoint anybody. But if it's out of your hands, it's out of your hands. So.
I mean, was there any point where you guys started to take different actions to ensure that just babied the truck or
I don't drive on the throughway. If I have to go to Cheektowaga, I take Genesee out to Cheektowaga. I don't take the throughway. Just we took it to Ellicottville and I almost destroyed the engine for a catering event in Ellicottville. I had to have it towed back from Ellicottville, so I don't really. We're not huge on far distances, which is why we try and stay pretty city centric. But definitely no throughway for us.
We didn't even make it to Ellicottville.
It was half a mile away from the wedding we were catering. So
Oh my God.
It's all right. We did it. It was good.
Yeah, we agree with that. Just know your limits and know how far the truck can go.
Yeah. How was actually learning to drive the trucks? Had any of you had experience driving?
I think I've driven it once.
Same here.
I taught myself driving it back from Brooklyn to Buffalo when I bought it.
Nice.
And I almost wrecked it the entire way home, and then I was a pro after that. So
Nice.
I fortunately have always owned shitty vehicles and mostly stick shifts. So this truck fell in my wheelhouse, and it was a little bit of a challenge, but I don't know. You always hear a billion things. You always think something is going wrong, and you're driving it so loud, and kind of learn to not worry about it by and also trying to like pay attention at the same time, I suppose.
It's become my job to get up and walk around the truck while we're driving if we hear weird noises and like
oh, really?
listen for things.
At like stoplights.
Yeah. Or not at stoplights, depending on how severe it is.
Yeah. Make sure the fridges are all closed while we're driving down the throughway.
It happens, man.
Has there been a lot of things that you like have had to learn along the way? Like, oh, I need to.
Well, you taught us about the oil lid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the deep fryer oil lid.
I don't know.
And then we made it and it didn't work.
No,
For us, because we made it wrong. But
we ran over ours, so that's on the Christmas list.
Well, we drain our fryer halfway whenever we drive.
Oh, okay.
Which is just a terrible idea because then it sits down underneath me, so I sit over like 300-degree oil for the entire ride home. So we were trying to find a way that we could just leave the fryer full. And he came up with a lid that worked really well, and then we made one that didn't work at all.
And then I ran over my masterpiece, and that was the end of that.
So
when Paul was sitting with the oil bucket under his...
It's on our Christmas list, though.
that's how it goes, man.
We moved the truck 1 foot because we were blocking a driveway behind City Hall. We moved it, and we forgot it was outside the truck, and then we just heard nails popping, and it was terrible.
It was a masterpiece. I gotta say.
I was so sad. I tried taking it completely apart to put it back together, but it just didn't work.
Oh, it was awful.
R.I.P.
That was the worst week. I got blamed for that one.
That's kind of the 20th time Paul got fired.
Oh my god, that was bad though. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh man, how have you? I mean, you guys also started as the legislation was occurring and things like that. Like it was shaping up and kind of changing a little bit. I mean, how was it finding places to go and like was that less of a problem that you assumed or venturing out into the suburbs, things like that? Like how did those go?
For us, I think when all the trucks first start, at least the ones since we both started, there's kind of like a template. You kind of know, okay, Roswell Park is on your list or First Niagara Center.
Yeah.
We're stationed in Tonawanda. So we grew up there, and we worked in the city. So between the two, we knew, we'd have spots in the suburbs and the city. We kind of purposely go to spots no one else goes to.
Yeah.
That was big for us is kind of make our own path and find our own spots. And
it's kind of got to be a little risky figuring out which works and which don't. Or?
Yeah, but we, first year we wanted to hit as many spots as we could. And we just that was kind of like our thing. Whenever we had downtime, we called up places and, kind of made our own route. And I think that's important with all the trucks is kind of like find your own system that works for you. And, we were able to change it up because we had so many spots that were accepting of us.
Nice.
But I think, as we worked through Buffalo and Amherst, where we came on at a time where they were more receptive to food trucks and what we were all trying to do. And, at the end of the day, we're just trying to,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I know that before we started, I was freaking out about spots. I was like, we're going to have this truck and nowhere to go. So, like he said, every day I was calling different places. And fortunately, I would say half of those spots have panned out to be successful for the long run.
Yeah.
Some of them haven't, but again, we go to places that nobody else goes to, and they're good for us.
Yeah.
Probably just because of the clientele that's there. They're looking for something that's a little bit different, maybe something that they can't find anywhere else. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But yeah, I mean the spots like Paul mentioned, First Niagara and Roswell and Larkin. I mean those are guarantees, and that's really just a matter of timing. I think we came on the road at a time when there was still some space available.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The trucks that are coming on now are going to have a little bit more difficult time.
We've already started doubling
spots,
up with the other trucks at our normal spots.
Yeah, I saw you with Folly Mac.
Yeah, tomorrow too. Like our normal spots, and luckily we've built up a clientele at this point that they're loyal to us, and it doesn't really impede business. Yeah. We've always said that more trucks, more people, hopefully at least, but. Regardless of that, what Christian said, it's going to get to a point where you're going to get to a sort of a saturation point, and maybe more strict and stringent schedules at certain well-known places are going to have to be figured out. So,
has pretty much the community been earlier this year been very accepting, bringing you guys on and
very much so. I think I'm sure you guys feel the same way about us. Is kind of back to the question you asked before. Once you get on the road and you get a couple of spots, we and I know you guys did too, have a lot of people just reaching out to you saying, I want you guys to come here. Yeah. And then those can end up being some of your better spots. And, then you create a relationship with them. Mm-hmm. You learn their clientele and, you become a staple for whatever company it is that reaches out to you. So, yeah, they've been great for sure.
Yeah. with the new wave that's coming, there's been a couple that have opened recently. Has anyone reached out to you guys about starting food trucks or asked you like how does this work or things like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone from North Dakota on Facebook, but that's all I know about it. I mean, a couple of the people that opened more recent trucks came to our truck and like threw out like feelers and whatever. And hey, man, like nobody gave me any direction, but if someone asks me, I'm not going to go out of my way, but if you ask me, I will help you and like direct you. Like I'm all for everybody. You know, there's plenty to go around, and I'm all for everybody. You know, if you want to start a business, I wish everybody to be successful. So it's a tough thing. I mean, whether you're starting, you know, a food truck or anything else, like that beginning process is very difficult to navigate. So it's always good to have, you know, one or two people that, you know, point you in the right direction.
Sure. Yeah, and we had a lot of help as we were getting started too. I mean, not only were we on a Kickstarter campaign, you know, we met with Lloyd's a few times, and you know they exchanged some help with us. We had generator issues right off the bat, and they allowed us to borrow a portable from them for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Yeah, like Frank said, I mean, anybody that's looking to get into it, I think that we're all willing to help out and at least lend some advice, because you know, the more you know about it getting in, the better you're going to be, because there's always going to be situations where you don't know what the hell is going on, and all of a sudden something happens and it's new to you. So
I think we've talked to 4 people now that were considering opening trucks, and I think one of them has actually done it at this point. I don't know what the rest of them are doing, but I mean, we've tried to pay it forward, I guess, a little bit. You know, we got a lot of help. Night Slider we met with 2 before we got on the road. Even just learning like what you can and cannot do in terms of setting your truck up, because we were still kind of building our truck when that happened. Learning. So yeah, so that was helpful, and we didn't want to take that for granted.
This summer seemed to be like really the first summer where there was a lot of food truck events. Obviously, like the Tuesdays at Larkin were gigantic,
huge.
And then there was a lot of festivals going on, whether it's Canal Side or things like that. How was preparing for those type of events? I mean, because that kind of was unprecedented. Like you guys were part of the first wave of that. Like,
yeah, I don't know if you guys agree, Frank and Paul, but you know, we got to a point in the summer where you started planning around Larkin. You know, you knew Larkin was going to be the biggest thing you're going to do that week. You know, not that you're scheduling things around it. You have your normal lunches and stuff, but there were a couple of times in the summer where we brought a ton of food with us to Larkin, and we got wiped out and couldn't do lunch on Wednesday. You know, like you never planned for that, but you know, it got pretty intense, and there were times where we felt like we were planning around just that one day. So,
And certain menu items too, like the Reuben, we could have never done over the summer because it just takes too long.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be smart about how long your items take, especially at Larkin, because you know, like you said, you do have like 30, 40 people in line at any given time, and you can't make those people wait for more than you know, a minute or two.
Nothing. No, I mean,
pass.
For us, it was the same thing. Like those beginning big events, you just got slapped. You know what I mean? And then we were good about, even for us, like limiting. Because I think when we started, we did our 12 regular hot dogs, and I did specials. I was like, hit like 25 items, and it's just like you can't do it. And it's not going to come out how you want. So we got, as the summer went on, we looked forward to those events because we knew how to handle them. It's like anything. You know, you do it a couple times, you get it. But we definitely got slapped around the first few times. And then we got to the point where we knew, like, hey, let's get rid of this, keep this, you know. Just because you want to have a flow. It's only 2 people. So if you go to those big events and you have no flow and it just, you know, you get bombarded, it's impossible. You just don't want to play catch up, and you want to keep the quality up. So for us, we just like, you know, limited to what we knew were like our highlights and rolled with it. So, and then if people wanted, you know, try the full menu or the specials, come grab us at a lunch. You know what I mean? It's just, you only could do so much on a little truck.
You know, I was shocked with the Larkin thing, because I went probably like maybe like the second or third week of the Tuesdays, and like there was like 2,000 people.
It was
there.
Crazy, man.
Like, did anyone have any idea that was going to happen? I feel like
not at all.
No, we all want to formally say thank you to the Zemskis for being like the greatest family in Buffalo.
Yeah, we appreciate that, but I think both of us at the time.
We weren't going to do it.
No, we were just Larkin. We had
didn't
started
do the first
with
2 either. Yeah, that's right.
It was raining, and
we were like, "Nah, we're not."
Are you doing Larkin? And we're like, "No, you know, it's not. You know, on our top priority list right now. And then, fortunately, those 2 weeks it had rained, so I don't really know how much we had missed. But then you guys went. And you're like, yeah, like Larkin, you have to be here. And then
Frank like right over. Like,
then we hopped in, and I mean, we, like you said, planned our Tuesday around
no question
Larkin and getting there early, and all that. So,
I mean that whole event it's basically like a food truck festival every Tuesday of the week. It's insane, right? and it seems like. I think near the end it was a combination of the weather getting cooler and them adding more trucks that it started to like a little dilute it, but I mean still like every truck had like 10 people always in line. It seemed like
it was crazy. It was nuts. It was obviously the first time that we've ever, and probably you guys too, had like a line of 30 people and had to be like, sorry, we have nothing, and close the window. That's the first time we've ever had to do that.
That's not a good feeling. No,
it's good and bad.
It's about as bad as canceling lunch short notice.
And two, I think it showed actually what food trucks are capable of, because there's a ton of people who never heard of Larkin Square, or at least they didn't realize how much the neighborhood had changed since.
Man, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
That was a cool feeling, like cool relationship between Larkin and all the trucks.
I mean, me personally, like I had never been to Larkin, and I remember going for that whatever it was, the Tuesday, and like just like walking in, looking like it was like Willy Wonka. Like I was like, there's all these colors, and there's just like what the hell are people doing down here? But like it's really a different type of place.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
I'm glad it worked out for pretty much everybody.
Yeah, no question. I don't think it couldn't work out.
I mean, if you have trucks driving, like we talked about earlier, driving these trucks long distances, it's not like the ones in Rochester are that much better mechanically than ours.
No.
And if they're coming up every Tuesday, it has to be worthwhile for them.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were a great addition to the mix as well.
Yeah. There's some good trucks down there, or up there. I guess
up there, yeah.
Over there.
Over that way. I think we've hit on a lot of the stuff I kind of want to talk about. Let's just talk about 2014. I mean, Frank, you guys are in hiatus mode, I guess you would say, recovering. I mean, what was the decision to take the break and things like that?
We experienced a winter, and it was a mild winter, and it just, I kind of think food trucks are seasonal in Buffalo just because of, the weather. If you have to go through the winter, fine, but, we went so hard for 10, 11 months that we felt it was more advantageous for us to like take a step back, like look at what worked, what didn't work, give us a chance to get creative again with our menu, and just mentally and physically like recover from the shell shock that happened over the past year. So we're definitely not done. We are just taking a hiatus, and we're just gonna come back with a cool, interesting menu with some new ideas, and we're just going to hit it hard again when we open. So, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
No, you're good.
We're good.
I mean, going into 2014, like, do you have any plans that you'd like to, any changes or any ambitions that you have for the year, like things you'd like to see happen?
We have some things in the works, which sucks because I'm not going to get into them.
That's fine.
But
you can tease.
Yeah, no, we're we're constantly looking to like improve not only like this concept but anything we're going to be doing moving forward, and we just want to get creative and branch out a little bit, kind of keep people guessing and interested in the truck. And I think when we hit the road again, people will be excited, and hopefully we have a good turnout like we did this year. But overall, I was scared shitless starting a business. I put every dollar I had into it. I dragged my brother out of, a lawyer, nice career to come help me, which I'm appreciative of. And everyone's been great. So I just thank everybody, and they're the reason we get to take a little, breather this winter.
Well, you guys did an awesome job, and I was always looking forward to visiting you guys. And I'm hoping that the kimchi hot dog makes some type of return.
I'll look it up. Yeah, we're gonna reinvent some of the ones we had for the whole year.
Nice.
And then we're going to add some new stuff, which I think is pretty cool.
Awesome.
Again, we just, in the middle of summer, like everyone touched on, it's tough to like get creative and think of new toppings and ideas and order from, other states. So we're going to get creative and, we're just gonna go. We're gonna definitely go for it in 2014. So.
Awesome, that's great.
Yeah.
So Christian, Mike, 2014. What is that going to look like for the Black Market truck?
Well, we don't know. I mean, it'll be around. We
it'll be here.
It'll be on the road for sure. We recently put in a bid on a brick and mortar spot.
We didn't get it.
We ended up not getting.
Okay, well,
but we've sort of wrapped our heads around that, and I mean, we're just.
Would it be an extension of brick and mortar? I mean, I don't want you to. I'm sorry, Black Market.
I hope so.
It would be called brick and mortar, actually.
Just
sorry, Paul.
Lawsuits waiting to happen.
You disappeared, man.
No, I mean, we put a bid in on a place, and we kind of got our head wrapped around the concept of having a fixed location.
Yeah.
We've ever since that happened, we've struggled with what we were going to do with the truck, and I think we came to the conclusion that taking it off the road would be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
We'd probably have to limit what we're doing, but again, we didn't get that option. I think we're just going to keep our eyes peeled at this point. We're going to keep doing exactly what we've been doing. Our winter schedule is a lot lighter than the summer, as Frank said. I mean, some of the spots just are not worth going to, and people understand that. You know, it's when it's 10 degrees outside, they don't want to stand outside any more than you want to work outside.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, that's sort of our focus. But at this point, things are kind of just staying the course.
Yeah, for the most part, I would say. We might do a pop-up over the winter time somewhere if we can wrap our heads around it and the schedule allows us to do something like that and maybe do something a little different than what people are used to from us. Maybe ease them into us having more of a brick and mortar location. So
nice.
Yeah. But
I hope that works out for you guys.
At some point. Maybe 2015. Who knows?
Well, again, you guys killed it this year, and I was very happy to see both of the trucks hit the streets this year. Some trucks that have been around, it's been hard to get excited for because I'm not sure what their intentions are or how dedicated they are to being, really pushing the boundaries of culinary food on the streets, rather. And when you guys entered, I was really excited to see somebody doing something that I could get behind, and so
thanks,
you
man.
guys did a great job, and thank you guys for coming back.
Of course.
You're one of the few people to make a repeat appearance on the podcast.
Sounds great.
In episode 100,
episode 100.
Oh,
congratulations, Don.
I would have brought a cake or something. Yeah,
Here's to
right.
you, man.
Congratulations.
I know, right? You feel a little more special now, right?
I know.
but again, thank you guys so much for coming down. This is really fun.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Donnie.
Thank you, Donnie.
All right, that was episode 100. We want to thank Christian, Mike, Frank, and Paul for all coming out to the studio. We encourage everyone to grab food from both Frank Gourmet Hotdogs and the Black Market Food Truck. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.